Guys, Marvel is finally doing it. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I've been following the Ultimate Universe very closely and did a video breaking down everything that we can expect from it. And it is all happening. So much of it was brought to us in this very issue. And spoiler alert, yes, it is exactly what you think. So starting with issue number 7, which picks up in July, we catch up with Peter, Harry, and Otto Octavius. From the looks of it, Peter is keeping his ID secret, eating a sandwich with his mask mostly still on. And Otto's role here is basically breaking down both of their suits and comparing them as pieces of technology. Both of them are Stark Tech suits, but they were built completely different with different approaches to engineering, saying that it's Stark 1.0 versus Stark 2.0. Harry's suit is apparently very sophisticated and top of the line hardware, while Peter's suit is completely beyond that of Harry's. Way more adaptive, transformative, more fluid, and obviously as we know from the Ultimate series, this is because Tony was using completely different equipment when he was designing other hero suits like Spider-Man's. But things get really interesting when Otto says both suits actually have an AI feature for combat analysis, life support, any sort of problem solving, right, that they may need to use in the field, saying that they just need a profile to map it to. And what that means is basically taking someone's personality, their consciousness and stuff like that, and then putting a voice to that, right, like bringing it back to life. As long as they were a real person with enough data on them to kind of copy and pull information from, they can make an AI fake consciousness out of it, basically. Peter and Harry both opt into this experiment, wanting to try out this feature, meaning that they both get to choose their own profiles. Peter actually chooses himself, but Harry's decision is much more interesting because he actually ends up choosing his father. And at first, that may seem kind of like, oh, what a nice guy, he misses his father, right? But like as we saw in issue number 5, the way Norman treated him was not too far off from how he was treated in the main universe. So like things are about to get very Raimi. But not only that, this is something interesting that I noticed while reading. One of the cool things about this universe when it first started up is that they killed Norman off in the very beginning, right? Harry's not getting the mantle from Norman, rather creating it himself. But now, with this, if you have an AI Norman Osborn who's basically the exact same makeup of information and data and consciousness, that means that from this point forward, in this universe, both Harry and Norman will have been in the Green Goblin suit in some capacity, which is like so weird to me. And it also speaks to where Harry's mind is at, right? His mindset, because again, as we saw in issue 5, he took all of the things, the really rude and harsh things that his father was saying about him, and he kind of embraced it. As he was going down the path of the villain, he was kind of accepting everything that his father said. All the words still ringing in his head were there, informing his decisions. So him going out of his way to make the AI his father is kind of like him locking in, reminding himself why he does this, allowing his father to push him forward in his decisions and as he goes down this path. And I think that's going to heavily contribute to his downward spiral into villainy if that does come. We then head over to Uncle Ben and J. Jonah Jameson's digital news company headquarters, aka the Paper Building, and we see that Gwen and MJ are actually going to visit. As we saw in issue number 4, there was a whole plan to kind of invest in them, invest in their company, but Gwen actually says something interesting here as they head in, saying, alright, let's see what my money bought me, which is like, it makes it sound like they didn't just invest, they skipped past all the progress, all the meetings, there was no discussion that we saw. It seems like they already bought it. So in the Ultimate Universe, Ben Parker and J. Jonah Jameson essentially, in a backwards way, work for Oscorp. We then see that these two reporters are not actually at the building, but instead in a dark, gloomy parking garage, looking to meet somebody. We see this person that they're coming to meet step out of the shadows and hand him an envelope. When Jonah looks inside, he says, well, I'll say this, Robbie Robertson is a man who comes through in a pinch. And as they're looking over whatever details he gave them, Ben says, you can't just give this to us, Robbie. You should have it. You deserve the credit for this. So whatever it is, they don't tell us, but whatever it is, it must be big. Possibly some incriminating information. And Robbie says, sure, but both of you know this is not gonna get published at the Bugle, so, you might as well take it, right? So it's probably something relating to Green Goblin, right? Because we know that, as mentioned in previous issues, Kingpin is not allowing the publication of any of the news surrounding what Harry's doing, because he doesn't want it out there. He doesn't want to maximize the publicity of it. They then ask him if he wants to join their operation as they're starting it up, and he's like, I've been thinking about it, and eventually, sure, but for right now, it might be best if I stay and just kind of be an informant for you guys. Your man inside. I can get you the stories that Kingpin is not going to cover. So I'll work with you guys, but I won't work with you guys, which is kind of cool, kind of sneaky. But my gut, for some reason, is telling me, is this guy giving us information that Kingpin wants him to give them? Like, does he know about their operation? Has he been watching what Harry's doing with his money? Is he staying on the guy that's attacking him, trying to stay one step ahead? And then, like, is this Kingpin, like, knowing that Green Goblin is Harry because we know that they've interacted and we know their history now? Is he trying to leak that Harry is is the Goblin? Is that what it is? Is that the incriminating information that's not gonna get published by the Bugle because he's not running stories about Green Goblin? My mind is going like 1,000 miles an hour thinking about this. Is this Kingpin giving them the story that he wants out there? Is this him still controlling the news? I don't know. It seems like something Robbie Robertson wouldn't do, right? But again, these are new versions of the characters. We don't know these people fully yet. Everyone has their own motivations. Everyone has their own intentions. Hulk and Colossus are villains in this. So like, we don't know. We don't know who's working for who. Ulterior motives are everywhere. It's crazy. We then get a very satisfying conversation between Kingpin and Captain Britain himself, as Kingpin is looking up at this picture of the Maker saying, I never met him. They then talk about the fact that Bullseye was taken and captured by Green Goblin, but they don't know that. They just know that he disappeared. And it's then that Captain Britain actually references the first issue of the Ultimates, saying, it seems you were right and I was wrong. This has grown into a much larger problem than I first believed. But don't worry, I have a solution. We then see an entire army of Bullseyes brought out, an entire team of Captain Britain's agents. So this is just another army that this guy has. And it begs a couple questions. We see this guy kind of escorting Captain Britain to the room where Kingpin is, and he looks exactly like Bullseye did. And so now with that, and the fact that this army of Bullseyes are being introduced, it's like, oh, the Bullseye that we saw in the first couple issues probably wasn't even the counterpart, right? It wasn't Poindexter. It was just another soldier. It was just a guy that was there. There are so many revelations, but Kingpin actually denies it. He rejects the offer completely, saying, no, I'm not gonna have these agents running around my town. This is my problem. I'm gonna deal with it myself, which is very, very cool, because this is Kingpin locking in. He's gonna address the problem, which means he's gonna be more involved than we've seen him. But yeah, with Captain Britain just having soldiers like this, right? Just having these guys at his disposal, it begs another question. How many armies does Captain Britain have? How many men does he have willing to die for him? How many does the entire Secret Council have in total? How many, ultimately, does the Maker have? How many people, how many underlings are operating based on his wishes, even while he's gone, even while he's been away, right? Is that not bizarre? Does that not put it into perspective? We then see Harry, Peter, and Otto's experiment continue as they activate the AI within the suits. And with a push of a button, these two are electrocuted on the spot. Anything? Otto asks. I'm not. Oh, Harry says, before hearing a voice in his head that says, all right, son, show me what you're made of. And Harry then says, hey, Pete, sorry about this, but my father says I have to kick your ass now. And Peter's like, whoa, again, easy, secret identity, but you know, good luck with all your daddy issues. And then his AI that's built off of him just starts rambling, saying, speaking of dads, you know who's a good one? We are. Just the best. Love those kids. And both their birthdays are coming up. We should get them something good, really good. I bet Harry's dad gave him the worst presents. You can tell. We should take it easy on him. Peter's like, yeah, you know what, Harry, this probably is not the best idea. They then go at it. Peter goes in saying, okay, you asked for it, before getting pulled by the wrist, punched in the face, and sent flying. We still hear Norman in Harry's ear, a fight isn't won after one good punch. And never let your guard down. There's always someone out there trying to beat you, hurt you, take everything from you. They killed me. What do you think they'll do to you? Spider-Man then punches him in the face, sending him to the ground. Norman continues, soft, soft, soft. He shoots a wrist beam out at Peter, but it misses. I always wondered just how weak you were, Harry. Spider-Man punches him in the gut. I'm beginning to think I know. You're not avenging me, son. You're embarrassing me. Harry then screams and shoots a chest beam out, hitting Spider-Man and sending him flying across the room. Peter lands in a stack of boxes and says, well, that hurt. Are we okay? Our diagnostics are within acceptable levels, but he needs therapy. Yeah, you think? Well, Dad, Harry says. How was that? Acceptable, Norman answers. Harry then goes to help Peter up and says, hey, sorry if I went a little, and then they get interrupted by Otto screaming, hey, we got a problem here. There's a third carrier wave. There's another signal on the Stark network. I tried to lock it out, but they got in through a back door. Somebody's coming. Someone's here. And then in a flash of shining blue light, Harry masks back up, and we hear someone say, I told you I'd be back in 6 months. The only question is, are you a hero yet? And Iron Lad himself is here to talk to the Spider-Man that he created. Finally! I told you guys it was gonna happen, and it's finally here. The moment is now. Dude, like, there was so much tying to the Ultimates in this, with the Maker, Captain Britain appearing, referencing the Ultimates, and now Iron Lad showing up at the end. It's so exciting. We're finally getting there. Like, it's all coming full circle. It's so good. The way Hickman puts this stuff together is just, it never ceases to amaze me. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this issue? I personally loved it, but I would love to know what you think. If you want bonus content, memberships are 99 cents. Go ahead and check that out. But yeah, that is the video. Thank you for watching.